Hello and welcome to the first ever Vault Hunters update video. As I'm sure a few of you know, we patch Vault Hunters quite frequently. We add new features, fixes balance issues, and of course stomp as many bugs as we can. It's kind of like snapshot releases for vanilla Minecraft. We try and make these updates weekly. And to keep it simple, we have decided to make Sunday update day. Supdate date. No, it doesn't work. Anyway, with that, I thought it was a good idea to have a update video every Saturday, for as long as we have weekly updates, that is. The only problem is, I, like the man behind me, am no professional to update videos, but I'll do my best. This week's update is called 003, and it's a big one. Let's begin by looking at the new features. And first up is animal jars and animal pens. These two things together are built to replace the need of this. A vanilla animal pen, also known as the lag pen. I'm sure that if you've played survival Minecraft yourself, you've probably done this once or twice. It's not great, is it? And the main problem with this is that it completely lags out your world. Or if you play on a server, completely lags out the server. So we fixed that. Instead of this, we're doing this. And these are super cheap to craft. You need 3 polished vault stone and 2 fences of any kind, and there's the animal pen. You're also going to need an animal jar, which is crafted with glass and 1 polished vault stone at the top. Then all you do is collect your animals by shift right clicking with your jar, and you can collect as many of one kind of animal as you want in one jar. And look, the cow is rendering inside the jar. Oh, actually, I can't pick up the babies because they're too small to fit in this jar. After I picked up as many animals as I want, you simply right-click them on the pen. Boom. And there it is. 11 cows in an animal pen. And I can see how many are in there by shifting and looking. Count 11. Now, these babies are already driving me crazy. Just a moment. Now, of course, this is not just a frozen cow. Attacking it with a sword will kill exactly 1 cow. And I can continue to do this until every single one is dead. At which point I get the jar back. And as you can see, I get the loot from the cows as well. And this works with looting on the sword. But that's not all. So let me collect some more cows and plonk them in. You see, I can also breed them by feeding them wheat. And since I have 12 cows, it's going to take 12 wheat when I click with my wheat, and it's now made 6 new babies, making it an 18 total count. And I can see when I'm allowed to breed next. Now, we couldn't really fit a baby to render inside here, so they become adults immediately. I can also use a bucket to get milk. Milk from a bucket. But it's not just for cows. Animal pens work on a lot of other animals as well. Bees? Hello! That is so cool looking. Sheep and chicken. I mean, it works on a lot of other things as well. You can have pigs in there, and turtles, and possibly horses, and etc, etc, etc. But I wanted to show you these 3 specifically because they have special features. The bees collect pollen and produce honey. And the more bees you have in your animal pen, the faster the gathering of pollen is. Excuse me, I was excited to see if there we go. Stupid horse. Do you also want an animal pen, sir? Hold. There you go. Sir Horse. As I was gonna say, I can now use an empty bottle to collect the honey, or I could have used our shears to get the honeycomb. And speaking about shears, hello! When shearing the sheep, it will shear every single sheep inside that pen. And that was 6 sheep, that gave me 15 wool. And then it will grow it back on a timer. And yes, you can re-dye them, and if it's red, then you would get red wool. Now, chickens are also special because they produce eggs. And eggs can be harvested using a bucket. Scoop them out. And again, all of these can of course be bred or killed to give their loot. I love these things, but they are intentionally made to not be automatable. You can't, for example, place a hopper underneath and expect them to just be producing stuff. We have other mods for that, such as Cacherium. These were simply made to replace the lag pens. And as such, neither of these two things, animal pens and animal jars, are hidden behind research. They are completely free and accessible right off the bat when you start your Vault Hunters world. So please, if you play on a server, help reduce lag by changing out any lag pen for an animal pen. Next up, we added vault anvils. Ah, look at that! The magical super steel anvil of doom. These are quite expensive to make, but they don't break. They last forever. Next up, a slight change to the vault altar. You know, this thing that you make crystals with? We have included groups. For example, this vault rock requires sand, but I can choose to give it either red sand or sand. It also requires leaves, but it will accept any type of leaf. This is very handy. No longer do you have to ensure that you have white wool specifically when it asks for wool. Next is a complete overhaul of soul shard trading. And this is very exciting. We fully removed the ability to press F7 to access the soul shard shop, and instead you need to craft a block called the Black Market. Now the Black Market completely replaces the soul shop. Place it down and it will give you 3 offers, which are rendered on top of the table. That looks so cool. When interacting with the table, it's very similar to how the Soul Shard shop looked, with the exception of a timer. This timer tells you whenever the shop resets. But that's not all there is to it. If I were to buy any of these 3 offers, I will get 3 new offers. Check this out. Purchase, and 3 new offers appeared. This means that you can't buy all 3 offers, you have to make a choice. But it is your choice, because another change we did was to remove the server-wide offers. The offers that you see at your table is completely yours, no one else's. You can take your time to think about it. Well, you can't take too much time because then the shop will reset. But yeah, you can take your time to think about it and then select what you want to buy and get 3 new offers. Now, just like before, you can still gamble an unknown item, and that does not affect the offer. So if I gamble, I got an amplifying or nullifying focus, but my offers still stand. I absolutely love this thing. It's gorgeous. Now, soul shards themselves have always been collectible through killing mobs inside the vault. Well, granted you have a shard pouch in your inventory, but we've added yet another way to collect soul shards. We call it the soul diffuser. Now, this is a pretty expensive craft, but trust me, it's gonna be well worth it. I mean, just look at this thing. It's awesome. Now with the Vault Diffuser, you can break down various vault items into soul dust. Items that can be broken down into soul dust will print their soul value on their tooltip. And if you have several, like I have here, you can hold shift and see the total soul value of the stack that you're looking at. So 4 vault essences, well that's 44 because they're 11 each. And all I do is put them in here, and boom, it's creating soul dust. And soul dust can be crafted into soul shards, which can then be used in the black market. Pretty cool. I love this feature so much. It makes looting basically anything inside the vault very useful. And the Soul Diffuser supports full automation, as in you can hopper items into it and hopper items out of it. Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be hoppers. It supports pipes and things like that as well. But with this, you can fully automate and set up like a factory-like soul dust generating machine of doom, so that you can shop and profit. Wow. That's actually an incredibly good offer right there. 1 black chromatic steel ingot for 203 soul shards. I think we can all agree, some pretty big game-changing additions in this update, and I'm all for it. Now, I'm gonna move on to some changes and balance updates, and probably skim through these a little bit faster. Remember, I'm no professional when it comes to update videos. The first balance update is that we have changed a ton of recipes for different modded blocks. Overall, I think we've made them a little bit cheaper, but more specifically, we've focused on making them more towards what you actually loot inside the vault. No more triple compressed gold block to create one little upgrade card for a drawer. The Vault Altar recipe pool has also been completely rewritten from the ground up. We've added things like leaves now that we have groups, but we've also removed some annoying items such as Heart of the Sea and tridents. you can now add wither skulls to a crystal after it's exhausted to curse it further, basically making it even worse. Yep, some people thought that was very important. We added vault plating as a recipe ingredient when crafting vault gear. And we also massively increased the amount of crafts you need to do before you get Omega proficiency. Because previously people maxed out the proficiency very early in their playthrough, allowing them to just constantly roll high chances of epics and Omegas. Which in a way removes the joy way too early of finding gear inside the vault. I should note though that this is still being tested and those values may change again either way. It depends on how the next week goes. After all, we are still in alpha development. We made it so that scavenger items that you find inside a vault no longer get deleted when you exit the vault. Why? Well, because they now have soul value, meaning you can put them in your soul diffuser and get value out of them. We also added a total vault statistics to the statistics page. And if you're on a multiplayer server, holding tab will show you what other players' vault level is and whether or not they're inside a vault. We've also decided to ship vault hunters with Rubididum. We also decided to add rubidium to the mod pack by default. That was take number 4. I just, for the life of me, could not pronounce rubidium. It's a performance mod that raised my FPS from around 70 to 140. Well, it goes a bit up and down, but yeah, noticeably higher FPS. There are also a handful of bug fixes. You can open completion crates even though you're wearing an offhand item such as a shield. We fixed quite a few client crashes that occurred randomly. We made the vault doll now display both recipes that it was intended to have correctly. We fixed a few vault gear level issues with the bounty table. We removed an exploit that allowed people to go beyond the intended max value of proficiency when crafting gear. We removed another exploit which allowed people to zoom the minimap inside vaults. And finally, we made it so that the sweeping hit chance modifier on vault swords correctly transfers the damage when sweeping to the swept targets. Previously, it just did 1 damage on every sweep like that, but that is when the sweeping edge misses. Last but not least, we also updated our backpack mod, the sophisticated backpacks mod, and the reason for that is because Pepper, the author of Sophisticated Backpacks, added a great new feature upon my request. You can now save your memory filter to your player data by using this button here. And this is very valuable because if I take another backpack, I can go in here, go to memory and load those same filter settings. Look at that! A very valuable feature for vault hunters, because that means that now you don't have to worry about your filter should you unalive and lose everything in a vault. You can load it to a new backpack regardless. I think that covered most things. Well, actually, we did actually add in 2 new shield models in this update, the bell and the turtle. Both of them are unique, and I'm not going to tell you how to obtain them, but they are very, very, very cool. Turtle? Man? Anyway, that's it for this update. This update should be out on CurseForge Sunday the 11th of December, and the official Vault Hunter servers will also be updated at the same time. I hope you have enjoyed my first ever update video, and as I said, I aim to make one of these every Saturday for as long as we have weekly updates. Please do let me know down below in the comments what you thought. I'm actually quite nervous about making a video like this, but I would love to hear what you thought, not only about the video, but maybe more specifically about the patch itself. Favorite additions, perhaps? Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy it, please do hit the like button down below, and if you're brand new, consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next patch update video.